Hey everyone, and welcome back to Full Circle Healing Teas and Tarot. My name is Sarah C, and today we're going to do some soup. This is a Portuguese styled soup called Caldo Verde, and it's a potato soup made with collard greens. You can use kale. Usually you use kale. So I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to make this. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. So the ingredients you're going to need for this soup are the following: a quarter cup of extra virgin olive oil, 10 ounces of chorizo, linguiça, or Spanish chorizo. There is a difference. You need to slice these up into 1/4-inch coins like this. You'll need a Spanish onion, 1 full onion, diced, kosher salt, 2 cloves of garlic sliced, but don't be afraid to add 3 or 4 because Portuguese people love their garlic, let me tell you, just like Italians. 6 medium potatoes, peeled and roughly chopped. Yukon Gold is a good comparison to the Portugal's yellow potatoes. You'll need 8 cups of water, or half homemade chicken stock or canned chicken broth, and half water. So you got that? 8 cups of cold water, or half homemade chicken stock, canned chicken broth, and half water. So you got to do a half and half. 1 pound of collard greens, kale. Remove the stems and cut the leaves in very, very, very thin slices, okay? Like a toothpick. And you'll need some freshly ground black or white pepper. So the first thing you're going to do in a large pot over medium heat is warm a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And then you're going to add the chorizo, the linguiça, or the chorizo, whatever you're using. I get Gaspar's linguiça from Dartmouth, Massachusetts. I am from New England, from Massachusetts, in that area, Bristol County. And I always used to get it in the stores. Here in South Carolina, I could get it at Publix, but right now they're not selling there. Hopefully they'll begin again in a month or 2. So I'm waiting on that. In the meantime, I order it and have it delivered because living in New England, especially in southern New England, I grew up with Portuguese and Spanish people all around me. So there was a lot of ethnic cuisine, and just you want to try everything because everything has a different flavor, but a unique flavor, and so delicious. So anyway, one of my very favorite foods is Portuguese food. All of it, almost all of it. I don't like polvo or polvo, depends on which island you're from, I guess, but that's octopus, and you have like actually little baby tentacles in your soup. The soup itself is amazing, like the broth and everything, but I don't like the texture of the tentacles. I just, nasty. So anyway, I haven't had this, and I ran across a recipe. I haven't made this in so long. So what I'm going to be using here is called chorizo. It's said like that. It looks like chorizo or chorizo. This is a Portuguese seasoned sausage. This is the spicy sausage. If you want their sausage that is not spicy, you want to have the linguiça. So this is Gaspar's, and they're online. So you can find them there, whatever they are. Look up Gaspar's linguiça, Portuguese brand sausage, okay? And you can put in an order and they will deliver it, and they have fast delivery. They come in gel packs, all that good stuff. So this is the meat that you're going to be using. So while I'm waiting for the kale to get here, I'm going to start chopping stuff up. I'm going to peel the potatoes, get those into the water. You're going to boil those for 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so I am going to start chopping up everything that needs to be chopped up or peeled. So I'm going to go ahead and peel these. Some people like to boil their potatoes whole and then mash them up, but it's a lot quicker if you chop it up. So here I am just peeling the skins off. And then a rough chop. It doesn't have to be anything pretty. You're just going to mash it up anyway. Trying to fit in all my harvesting. I got lots of things I need to dry and start preparing. I got to start doing my canning. Lots of things. Lots of things I'm going to be doing this winter for sure. Okay, now that I have all these potatoes peeled and washed off, I'm going to cut them up. Now, if you are using the Yukon Gold, it's going to take you probably close to the 20 minutes. They're pretty hard potatoes. But I didn't have any, and I am using your regular yellow potato, so it's probably going to take a little less time than 20 minutes, but you just want to keep an eye on it. I mean, you're basically going to cut them up like you were making mashed potatoes. I've already heated this water, so it won't take so long either, and I can work on cutting up the other things while I am boiling the potatoes. Now I'm going to cut up this onion. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the whole thing because it's a pretty large onion. So I think I'm going to cut it in half, to be honest with you. I mean, look how big this thing is, you know? You want to make sure you're taking off the outer layer of skin, and we are going to dice this. Again, it's all going to get pureed. So remember that if you're not a big fan of onions, woo, baby, then you might want to add a little less. I love onions. My eyeballs do not love onions, but there you go. So you're going to put this in the bottom of the pan. You're going to cook everything in because you want to be able to, you want to be able to puree it while it's in a pan. So you don't want to use something that is copper or non-stick. Oh, my eyes are running. All right, let's get a baggie. Cover that up. Now we're going to move on to the linguiça. Now, where did I put my kitchen scissors? Again, you don't have to use chorizo. You can use linguiça, which is not spicy. People don't like spicy stuff. They're not going to like this. Whew, my goodness. And you're going to want to cut rounds about this size here. Okay. This is already a cooked meat. You want to see it out of the package. There you go. Missing my husband these days. All right, so we're going to cut these up. I think right now I'm just going to use this one link. And it's been said that you put one very tiny, thin slice of chorizo in the potatoes before you mash it up. Also, I don't have garlic cloves. I actually used up the rest of them not too long ago. So I'm going to use crushed garlic right here. I get mine from Members Mark because we use a lot of it. Sam's Club. I love Sam's Club. Okay. And what you're going to do here is you're going to throw this meat in, except for that little piece. And you're going to fry it up with the onions with a quarter cup. Yes, I said a quarter cup of virgin olive oil. So good. Okay. I'm getting some of that. This works fine. I think I'm going to turn the light on. There we go. It's getting dark. I mean, on this side of the house anyway. All right, so we're going to measure out a quarter cup. And that is right above me here. See, I am very ADHD. Oh, the tears. I probably should have had all this together before I started my video, but it's okay. We still get things done. It still works. You want a quarter cup. Honestly, for my own taste, you don't even really need this much because linguiça and chorizo is greasy on its own. It's a sausage. This is a pre-cooked sausage, so you can eat it raw if you wanted to. All right. So here I put in that oil. I'm going to throw in, it says 3 to 4 cloves. So I'm going to throw in a couple of tablespoons, nice ones, like so, in here. That was loud. I'm very sorry. I'll have to cut that out. Okay. So now that that's done, we're going to pause. Because I need a puff off my vapor. It happens. If you're not 18, you shouldn't be watching my shit anyway. I swear. All right, so we're going to put the front burner on medium high. I'm going to put this chorizo in here. I think I'm going to cut up the other one. We all love chorizo. Well, maybe not. All right, so now you have your mix here, okay? And you're going to fry it all up together. And it's going to taste so good. And then you're going to take the pieces of chorizo out and put them on a paper towel on a plate and let the grease drain out, because you don't want all that grease, especially if you have stomach issues like myself. Just saying. And we'll be right back. Okay, so now that you have your garlic, your onions, and your chorizo done, you're going to want to pick the chorizo or whatever sausage you're using, linguiça, chorizo, whatever. You're going to want to pick those out and put them on a paper towel so you can kind of get some of that grease off. I'm trying to shake off some of this garlic that's in here. I overcooked these just a hair because I was doing dishes. But it'll be all right. If you ever overcook something, don't scrape the black stuff off the pan with your food. Gently, with like a spatula or a wood spoon, pull it to the side and scoop it out. That's a surefire way to ruin a meal. You can always soak off the burnt stuff on the bottom and it'll come off. Now later on, what we're going to do with these is garnish. They're going to be used as garnish on top of your soup. Now the potatoes are getting ready to boil. My kale is almost here. I'm not really worried about it because I put it on a fast delivery. It only takes a few minutes to wash and slice up, and I can show you that. And again, it's the last thing to go in before you do the last, boiling. So let me ask you, since I'm doing this, Have any of you been to the New England area, Massachusetts? I can't talk. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont. Are you from there and moved away? I lived in Massachusetts. I lived in Connecticut and Massachusetts. So I lived in Connecticut for a while I was a kid. Did I lose that one? And then we moved to Massachusetts, and I grew up there. And then when I hit 40, I moved down to Florida for a decade. And now I'm here. I still go home and visit. Tell me some of your favorite Portuguese food if you are just a fan and like to travel over to the Azores or Portugal or anything like that. Or if you grew up in cities, neighborhoods with a lot of ethnicity. You say that 3 times fast. A lot of Portuguese people or Spanish people. So let me know if you've had this dish. Let me know if I'm doing something wrong. I'm probably doing a lot of things wrong. Let's see if the flavor's there, though. And if I am, be nice about it. Bring your nasty energy on my channel. All right. Yeah, so comment. Where are you from? What kind of Portuguese food do you like? How do you make Caldo Verde? There we go. A spicy chilies. I used to fry these up in a pan with red hot crushed peppers. Like the wet kind you keep in your fridge. My stomach's not so good anymore because of that. So due to the fact that I did burn a little bit on the bottom, I'll be generous and show you what I've done. Not terrible, but I can totally scrape what's left in there out and put it in a different pan. There is a solution to almost every problem. If you just slow yourself down, take a few deep breaths, and look at everything from a distance, almost like you were another person. If this was somebody else's situation, how would you handle it? All right, so I have pulled all of the onions and garlic out of the pan, okay? We would call that a panela where I come from, okay? So I pulled those out with not too much black or brown burnt or anything. There might be a couple pieces in there I pick out just for the fact that it's a soup, because normally I welcome the burnt stuff. I like it, you know, it gives it a little zest, a little extra flavor. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put this to the side. These potatoes are at a rolling boil. They should be done soon, and then we can go from there. Okay, so the family's home. So if you hear noise, that's what's going on. Now, I meant to tell you, because I didn't show you, but I did it behind the scenes so I wouldn't forget before it was too late. But I added my chicken broth, and I use the Knorr pollo seasoning, the chicken bouillon, and it's powdered caldo de pollo. Okay. I use Sam's Club, so I get things in bulk because we use a lot of this stuff. Not in big portions. It's bad. Salt, you know, all that sodium stuff. But I just had a little taste, tasty-roo, and it is tasting just the way it should. I have some beautiful Italian parsley that I'm going to pick off to put in everybody's bowl when I'm done. I got the pan cleaned. I mean, there's a little black still left on there. A little burnt never killed anybody, put it that way. So what I'm going to do, because I do not want to mix and puree the potatoes in this copper pan, I'm going to pour it in here now that it's all cleaned. So this is your 8 cups of water, your 6 potatoes, and the chicken broth or chicken bouillon and water mix. That's what we got going on here. Now, take that off that burner. And if you know potatoes, if you don't get them rinsed soon after using the pan, it's like cement. I'm all set with that. There you go. So I'm going to use my quick blender. This thing is amazing. It's got a pulse. It's got a fast and slow. I don't know who makes this. Hamilton. I think I got it at Walmart at some point. I have not added salt or pepper yet. I got people in the house that don't like pepper, so I kind of add that to myself. We're all trying to watch the sodium, and since I just put, you know, a couple of these cooking spoonfuls in there, I think I got enough salt, so I didn't put any of that in there either. So here we go. We're just going to pulse. Keep an eye on it. Ooh. Woo-hoo-hoo! And the water's hot. So if you always wondered how Caldo Verde got its yellowish color to the potatoes, it's not because they're Yukon Gold. I mean, that's some of it, but it's also to do with the chicken broth. Of course, the best broth to use is your own homemade chicken stock. That's nice. Okay, so now like I was saying, the one thing we were supposed to do here, and I'm going to throw it in now because I forgot, was that little skinny slice of chorizo. It amounts to about nothing, but it's going to give that little bit of flavor. I've known other people who put more of it in there. You really don't need it. And here we go. I'm going to blend that up again. Let me actually show you what this looks like. Okay. And its consistency. So it's creamy. It's not overly thick. It's kind of creamy, and that's how you want it. Okay. Kale is on its way. Should be here momentarily. And you saw those little pieces of chorizo in there, so we're just gonna blend those up. Yes! My son-in-law came through. We got kale. Thank you. Here, just yeah, right next to it. Yeah, that's good. Or not on top of it, but next to it. There you go. All right. So now that that's done, and my kale is here, I'm going to wash this stuff up, give it a nice rinse, and I'm going to start slicing them very, very thin. And you want to slice up a pound of this. It's kind of like a garnish, but it's not. It's going to go in here, and then you're going to bring it back to a boil and let it simmer for a few minutes. And then you're done. And you can leave some on the side for garnish to put on top with your 1 or 2 pieces of chorizo. That's how that works. I'll be back. So they have given me mustard greens. Apparently there was no kale. And that'll work just fine. You can use collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens. Mustard greens are spicy. Like, reminds me of cabbage with a little kick. I won't be putting too much of that in there. Okay. So here you go if you want to see how we got this going on. Okay. And I'm just going to throw this in here like so. Probably could have chopped that up a little bit more, huh? That's all right. And I'm going to bring this back to a boil. So here we go. Everything is in. I chopped up some of them a little smaller. Get some longer pieces. It's getting ready to boil. As soon as it gets a nice rolling boil, I will turn it down to simmer for about 10 minutes. And that's just going to cook the greens. Add the flavor in. So at this time, while it's getting into its rolling boil, you're going to want to add these back in. Okay, so we're boiling. I'm going to turn that down to low so it can cool right down. I'm going to add, after I take out these couple of burnt ones, I am going to add these into the soup. And give it another puree. And I'll be done. There we go. I'm turning it off for a minute just so I can get in here. I realize I probably should have pureed the onions before, but again, it's okay. Okay. Oh, this looks amazing. So very happy. All right, for the moment of truth, what we've all been waiting for. I'm gonna start scooping them out. They're gonna be hot. Wear gloves. Okay, so I have my Italian parsley from my gardens. These are on my deck, but it's still my gardens. I'm gonna put those there. And the best part is this. When you scoop it out, he wants to be in the movies too. So here you go. A delicious bowl of Caldo Verde. Thanks for joining me today while I try to makeshift some Caldo Verde. The taste is there, the flavor's on. I had to substitute a couple of things, but it happens in everybody's kitchen, you know. I was so excited to get kale and I got mustard greens, but I think it's just going to be perfect. You can add more than 2 slices of linguiça or chorizo or whatever sausage you're using to your Caldo Verde, and it'll be just fine. We like to do bread and butter with ours. Have a great one. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, blessed be.